Hi there, welcome to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel on YouTube, and today I'm going to show you how to draw this pumpkin. And it's not a Halloween pumpkin, which I've already shown you before. This is more of a kind of a Thanksgiving pumpkin. And oh, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's do it. Let's get this centered. That's pretty well centered. Right, now what you want to do for a pumpkin is you really want a kind of an oval shape like that, and put a little curve just up there, and that is where your spike, the stalk, is going to go, like this. Now I know I've done another pumpkin, but I did a Halloween pumpkin before, and that's kind of different. So this is kind of a Thanksgiving pumpkin you might eat rather than cut holes out of and scare everybody with it. Right, you want a kind of a curve up at the top there, and you want it to come down at the bottom here as well. Okay, but don't draw too many lines. Just going to get that one out from there, and then draw out from the side there, sideways out like that. But it's just coming in kind of just behind that curve of that one, and then this one here will come just behind like that, and then you're going to want more coming around behind there, and another one kind of like that, and there we have our pumpkin kind of shape. And I'm going to ink this in. So that's the kind of that's where it's been cut off, and I'll do that quite with a wiggly line like that because it's kind of dried up, hasn't it? And then you kind of have these ribs kind of in the stalk as well, don't you? Kind of like that. And then what you want to do is don't really do much here, just kind of hint at the, you can probably do a bit more, just kind of draw dotted lines and just kind of hint at the curve, and probably come all the way down to there, and then that is definitely going to be a curve, and that will again come into a curve there, and then it will kind of sweep out around that sort of the bulge. Now let's come down to the bottom here, because that's definitely going to be a curve, but then you want it again to kind of just turn into dots, just as a kind of a hint of this, of the rimple. No, there isn't such a word. Rimple, ripple. I can't think what it is. It's the curves, isn't it? the pumpkinoids, the pumpkin crinkles. I don't know. I said it before about ness, the essential thing of an object, and that's kind of what it is. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is dry before I erase it. And I'm going to shade it in. Now if you want to see me do this real fast, I'm going to do this again on Draw Stuff Real Easy as a straight pencil drawing, but I'm going to switch off now and start painting. Actually, I'm going to see if I can paint this in real time without it going. I might have to cut some bits out and speed up as we go along. Right, what I'm going to do is we're going to have the light kind of coming down this direction, so I'm just going to start off by doing that, and leaving a gap there, and I probably wish I'd left some others now. I'm probably going to wish I could have left something kind of like, yes, I probably wish I'd left some bits on the top there as well. See, rushing into it. And oh, which paper is this? Oh yes, am I using the good paper? I am using the good paper, that's right, good. I just found this funny bit of paper on the floor that oh, I'm going too slowly, hang on. no, I'm letting that dry out, which gives you a hard edge to it, which is something that we don't want. Okay, so that's kind of going to be okay, I think. There we are. And I can probably, while it's wet, I can probably kind of pull out some of the colour from there, just to give it. Can you see that there? I'm getting a bit of highlight by putting wet, just clean water on there is just kind of pulling out the colour and leaving us with a bit of a highlight, which is what we want. And then we want to have it darker at the bottom and dark into those kind of crevices there. Crevices, I suppose they are, like that. But you don't want it completely dark all the way to the bottom. You want to leave a little bit of highlight at the bottom, which I've kind of lost now. Doing it and talking about it are different things. Okay, now while it's kind of wet now, so I'm going to, but wet but drying, so I'm going to just kind of drop stronger colour in there, and again down the side like that, but not all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to let the water take it most of the way. The water kind of sort of does the work for you. You drop the colour into where it's still wet, and it'll just kind of flow into that space. Does that make any sense? I hope so. It's just something you know, we're back to this practice thing again. And if you want to get proficient with watercolours, particularly watercolours, because, you know, I know people think watercolours, oh, they're just for kids and they're the easy thing. If they're not, okay? It's if you go and talk to, you know, people who do oil paintings, oh yeah, you know, I do oil paintings and stuff. You say, why do you do oil paintings? They say, because watercolours are too difficult, and oil paintings are far easier. You know, sort of the old-fashioned kind of stuff, because you're just slapping one colour on top of another with oil paintings, whereas here you're having to be far more controlled. You have to understand what you're doing an awful lot more, rather than just slapping one colour on top of the next, which is kind of what I think oil painting is. Some oil painting people will now go, ah, how could you say that? But you just have to, I don't know, there's lots of different ways of doing watercolour as well, and you just have to kind of try all sorts of things, and you kind of learn by making mistakes, and sometimes you do something and you go, whoa, that was good. Now, and this is something you can use as a bit of kitchen towel, just to kind of dab off the bottom there, because I'm wanting to keep it, you're kind of getting a light coming up from underneath it, like that. Okay, I'm just going to use my hairdryer for a moment. I may switch off. Okay, now that it's dry, you see I can get a kind of a hard edge in there like that, but while it's wet and you keep kind of putting colour on there, you're always going to get, it's just going to kind of keep bleeding in, and so every now and then you want to kind of let it dry, and then you can start putting on new kind of bits. I think that's a bit too hard edged, that's just too much of a hard edge. There we go, and then probably a bit too orange. And of course with watercolour as well, it dries a different colour as well, so you kind of have to learn these things by experience and by doing it, and that's the only way, is just do it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. You have not failed. This is one thing you must always remember with art and drawing and painting, things like that. If it doesn't work out, you have not failed. You've just learned something. You should have had a really good learning experience. Because if it doesn't work out, then spend your little time thinking, why? Have I learned anything from this? Maybe next time if I do something, if I do it this way next time, if I do it that way next time, and that way you never fail. You just have a learning experience. And I think a lot of people are very hard on themselves. They keep saying, "Oh, that's no good. I'm no good. I've failed. That's useless. It's bad." And that's how you do fail. Hang on. If you keep telling yourself, you know, you're rubbish and your work's no good, then I'm afraid it isn't ever going to be any good. You have to be very positive. You have to keep yourself positive the whole time when you're doing artwork. And you've got to be your own best critic as well as your own worst critic. And you've got to know, you've got to really be hard on yourself and say, that isn't good, but I've learned something there, and next time I'm going to get it right. And then when you've done something good, you've got to really be pleased with yourself, and you know, don't go bragging, because people don't like that. But you've got to know, you've got to feel proud of yourself, and do be proud of yourself when you've done something good. Think, yeah, that was great, and I've done a good job. And then move on to the next one and try and get that right. And if it doesn't work out, remember, you have not failed. And the thing, it's a bit like riding a horse. If you have made a mistake, you just got to get back on that horse. And just putting a little bit of kind of shadow from the stalk here. And it's like you're riding a horse. If you fall off, you've got to get back on again, or else you start to get scared, and you can't afford to do that. So if you make a mistake, you got to look at what you're doing and go, I can get that better next time, and then preferably just go straight in and redo it and get it right. Because it's like getting on that horse. If you don't just get straight on and do it, it gets harder to get it right. Oh, words of wisdom today. I think it's right. I'm going to put some shadow in down here, and that will then kind of put it on the table, as I like to say. And how are we doing? 9 minutes, right? Okay. 9 minutes plus 4, so that's actually quite a long. Oh, gone over the edge there. And there you go. Well, that'll give you some idea of how to paint a pumpkin. And if you're having pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, or you're going to use this to make a Thanksgiving card or anything like that, then happy Thanksgiving! And as I said, quite often we don't have Thanksgiving in England because it's all about Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims got to America safely from England, where they were being persecuted by us, the British, but the English mostly. And but that's long gone by. And just going to put a bit of brown in there, and we can maybe put some kind of spots and marks and things like that on there. So, if you've been watching, thank you very much. And don't forget to keep coming back to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel on YouTube. And keep drawing. Practice. I'll see you next time. You take care now and have a happy Thanksgiving. Bye bye.